Hikaru, welcome to the stream.
Huh?
Congratulations on your draw, or not so much today.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Well, I'm trying to be polite. I'm not. You're happy with black, but you're a fighter. You're not happy.
Well, I mean, that's just it wasn't very exciting. I mean, I don't mind a draw, obviously, but the game was really very, very boring. With little play for either side, so there isn't really much to say. Yeah. The result is fine, obviously. I just wish it had been more interesting.
Okay. So as you see right now, we're still trying to fix some smaller issues, but that's okay. It should be
Come
fine.
on, use Alt, use Control. Come on.
Then what? I'll see. That just
It's
fixed
okay.
everything.
It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Well, you're here as a chess expert, not
Yeah,
as
yeah. You want me to do all the technical stuff now too?
no.
Yeah.
But please go ahead and show us your game.
Yeah,
You can
sure.
use the
Can I use
mouse,
this mouse?
also
Sure.
the keyboard.
Yeah,
Wait, we
so
have to switch. Do you know? Of course,
you go to
yeah.
games and
You have to
is it down or do I do Control F here?
You can
I can also
minimize
just
this
search,
here.
right? Yeah. I mean, I can also just do this. Yeah, here we go.
Let me just put the board into the
Sure.
middle. Sure. Sorry about that. See, I'm almost an expert also. Okay, and now take it away.
It's a good thing you aren't looking at comments. 'Cause I know people would say that there's blue above, and that's not good. It's not equal. Everything's. But anyway, jokes
OCD
aside,
chess
yeah.
players.
But I mean, but of course, yeah. Jokes aside, where are the moves? Here are the moves. Yeah. So I mean, my game was not super exciting. I decided to play this A6, this Janowski variation, within the Queen's Gambit declined. I mean, it was something different to play. I've obviously played Matthias many times online in Title Tuesday. After the game, he mentioned that I had beaten him with the Dutch, but for me, I didn't even remember these Dutch games. I remember many more Nimzo Indian games where it would go like something like D4. Something like d4, knight f6, c4, d6, knight c3, bishop b4. And I mean, he would play a couple of things. Sometimes he would play bishop d3, sometimes he'd go knight g2, sometimes he'd play bishop d2, and I kind of wasn't in the mood for that. And so I just decided to play something completely different that I thought would surprise him. Also, I knew he was coming from the Metropa Cup. I mean, it's still in Germany, but he played 7 games there. And I mean, I knew I was going to play him when I saw that he wasn't playing this morning at 10 a.m. So yeah, I just figured I would prepare this and go from there. And I mean, the game wasn't really super exciting, I guess you could say. I mean, he shook his head somewhere around here after I played knight f6, and I think the reason is because he was considering multiple different variations, and he probably was trying to pick the one where he thought that I wouldn't be prepared, basically. And so as soon as I moved instantly, I had this feeling that he was already a little bit unhappy because he was hoping that maybe I'd play bishop d6 or do something a little bit different than what I did. And I just sort of followed the main line. I mean, this is all pretty normal here. He took on c5, which I mean is okay, but I mean, I think bishop e2, knight c6, and rook d1 is perhaps a little bit better, or it's more of a try, I think, on some
Can't you
hands.
make c4 work?
Yeah, c4, and then is it castles right away? I think it's castles, something like bishop d6 or b5, and takes, and maybe something like e4. Something like this, maybe at least it can maybe get complicated. But what he did in the game, I mean, was very, very dry. He decided to take on c5, and then goes here. I play knight c6. Castles, and yeah, I spent a lot of time on rook c8 here because I wasn't really sure in this position after castles. If he plays, I mean, I can get basically the same thing with rook fd1, queen e7 without rook c8 and having castle the king here. But I also wasn't sure 100% if he plays knight a4, what was going on. Like knight a4, bishop a7, knight c5. I mean, I wasn't sure if I play queen e7, takes. I don't know if this is good for me or not good for me. It's hard to judge, and I can see the bar is going up for white, which means I made the right decision. Maybe not, but I wasn't sure like whether this was completely fine or worse, and so I spent a lot of time on rook c8. Um, on rook c8, he goes here, queen e7, and then he played knight e5, which was a good move. And I think bishop b4 is very, very precise. I think the computer will probably say every move is equal here, but from the human perspective, at least, it can be quite unpleasant if we get some position like, say, castle, something like this, for example, bishop f3, takes, I don't know, rook d8. Something like this. Like, I have a feeling the computer is going to say this is completely fine for black, and it's nothing special. You go like rook c5 and maybe b5, queen c7. But again, if anybody's better here, it has to be white because of the isolated pawn on d5. And with no chance to win, and you're
Yeah.
only worse here. I really didn't like this. So that's why I spent a lot of time. I mean, rook c8, queen e7, and bishop b4. These three moves, I spent a lot of time because I just was trying to find a very precise way to avoid ending up in one of those lines. And I think bishop f3 made sense. And then I took, and then he took. I castle, and now I trade the knights. I mean, maybe here there's something to try and play for more, but white also has to be a little bit careful because if you play something like rook c1, I think was there g5 here or maybe knight b4? Yeah, I think there's already g5 and maybe g4 with like some knight
Oh,
e4. And
okay.
I mean, it's still fine for white, of course, but I mean, there it could get a little bit complicated. So I mean, he traded on c6, and then yeah, I take queen d2, maybe queen d3. I guess you could say is more of a try, but after rook c8 anyway. I mean, even here, if he gets bishop e5, like something like queen b4, for example, I think maybe queen b4 is wrong here. Actually, I think what I was going to do is queen b4 right away. And now bishop e5, knight e4. I mean, black should always be completely fine here, basically. Again, white might have some small advantage, but if I can ever get this knight planted on e4
Mhm.
with protection, then I think black is always completely fine. So he played queen d2, and then I mean the game just ended very quickly because now I go knight e4 and everything just comes right
Yeah.
off the board. I mean, takes, or I didn't even take. I think what did I do? I traded everything off on c1. And then, yeah, I waited for him to offer the draw after a3 because it's also the first time I played here, so I wasn't 100% sure about the rules. Because most tournaments I play in, there's some like 30 or 40 move rule where you can't offer a draw. So I was basically I thought I could offer a draw, but I was waiting for him to offer the draw just to be sure, because obviously Matthias has played here many times. So not a very exciting game, but I mean, it's what to do sometimes.
Yeah, you're allowed to offer a draw after move 20, but you don't have to, of course.
It's move 20. Okay,
Move 20,
okay.
yeah. Well, otherwise, we might check if we can forfeit him for offering the draw, yeah?
Yeah. No,
In
no. I mean,
hindsight.
I wasn't 100% sure. That's
Yeah.
that's actually why like I didn't offer a draw because I figured he knows the rules and
Yeah.
I don't. So like, there's no need to have some weird situation happen. So yeah, when he offered the draw, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. But
Hardly much you can do.
yeah.
Just quickly for the uninformed eye, at first
hmm
sight, it
Yes.
looks like white has a pair of bishops and you've got the IQP.
hmm
Um, so how would you explain to the average viewer why this is not actually better for white and
Well,
why black
I
can
have a feeling
equalize?
the average viewer in Germany is much higher than the average viewer somewhere else because when you say IQP, isolated queen pawn, I mean, I think most people have no idea what that even is, if we're being honest. So yeah, I mean, for someone who's like who's fairly like a serious amateur player, I mean,
Hmm.
I think the main thing here is that it really comes down to this dark square bishop on f4. It's not really doing a whole lot, but if you could get it to this other diagonal, for example, I don't know, let me just set up some position like this for example here. White's probably quite a bit better because the bishop is always
Hmm.
pressuring the knight. There's knight e4. There might even be queen d4 here, and so it really comes down to whether white can put pressure on this pawn on d5. This pawn on d5 quickly because this bishop is on the wrong diagonal. This bishop's on the other diagonal. It's fine, which is also why
Hmm.
black has to react very quickly. But the knight's always going to e4, and as long as I can control the c file, it's not that big of a deal. I know it's
Yeah.
not the best explanation, but basically, as long as black has control the c file here, and you keep this bishop off the other diagonal,
Hmm.
it's more than enough to equalize.
Yeah, so that's your concrete idea to equalize. Would you also say that even though white is way superior in the dark squares, black is just as superior in the light squares, and with a knight on e4 and the bishop
Yeah,
on
I mean
f5?
that's kind of the point though, because
Hmm.
basically, like, also if white can get just to set up some position like
Hmm.
this, white might be better here because now
Yeah.
the knight can't come to e4, and you're still putting pressure on his pawn. So the bishop's
Hmm.
very very well placed here on e5. So like if you can get this set up with the
Hmm.
bishop on this long diagonal and the queen here to stop knight e4, if you can
Hmm.
stop knight e4 and keep the queen here, then you can probably claim an advantage. Although even here maybe I can still here I can't because g7 hangs, but just to point out something like this even
Oh.
for example would be fine. I
Hmm.
mean, obviously G7 hangs, so it's not an option here, but maybe you can get some construction like
And
this with Bishop E5, some construction like
now
this.
king h1, rook g1, g4, g5.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea if you have time. But
It's
but
typical,
but
classical
again,
plan.
but even here, like I mean, I feel like at some point you get something like this. Even here, I bet Black is still probably okay in something like this. There's probably still enough counterplay with
Mm.
Rook C2. So like this is kind of the thing. I mean, this also it matters a lot as it relates to like games that Magnus Carlsen plays because a
Hmm.
lot of times you get some position and you know you're fine, but it's a question of whether it's straightforward and you can simplify right away and make the draw, or whether you're suffering. And
Yeah.
I mean, in this game, I was trying very hard to avoid the situation where it's probably a draw, but I could be suffering. I think I did a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you for walking us through the game.
Mhm.
Now the question that's on everyone's mind.
Mhm.
What are you doing in Viernheim? How did all of this happen?
Yeah, I mean, this sort of came together at the end of Norwich House last, I guess, end of May, probably early June now. And at the closing ceremony, the players were seated at different tables, and one of the players at my table was
Hmm.
Shakar Mamadiyarov, who
Hmm.
was playing for the club Schach Club Viernheim, and he basically asked me if I had any interest in playing. And that sort of led to this conversation that I had with the club about participating in the Bundesliga. And these days, at least, lot of terms that I play in, it's more about whether it's interesting for me, like what's the purpose, than like actually having like a specific goal. And
Hmm.
I've never played the Bundesliga before. I think in large part because usually I'm based in America, and because of that, it's very hard since the event is spread out over so many weekends. Whereas like in the past, I played the Spanish league or the French league, and usually it was like 9 games or 10 games all at
Hmm.
once. So it's over like 6 7 days
Yeah.
all in one go. Makes a lot more sense for me. Being in the US, it didn't really make sense to play one weekend here or there. But when Shakira mentioned it to me, I decided that why not try and play, and I agreed to play this quite a while even before I qualified for the candidates, and then I figured, I mean, there's no reason not to play. I mean, it would have been very easy or convenient to just be like, okay, I have the candidates, I can't play, but I had already sort of agreed to play, so it didn't really make sense to walk it back.
And we are very grateful that you're here. I was also hoping for some kind of explanation, like you always wanted to become German team champion. It was your childhood dream, and now it's the
No, I mean,
possibility.
that definitely wasn't my dream. But I think that
Still can become one.
yeah, but I think when I look at chess around the world, I mean, I've said this even on my stream. I mean, Germans are very passionate about chess.
Hmm.
They're my biggest audience, I think, outside of the United States
Oh
that
wow.
watch me. So, I think there are a lot of fans here. I think also if I look at the broader picture with chess, there are many very strong amateur players in Germany. I think the only other
Hmm.
country that probably I could compare it with is maybe Russia,
Hmm.
where you have average players. I mean, average, of course, but people who are regular jobs who are master level
Yeah.
or better. And so, I mean, I think there's a lot of excitement. And I mean, I've been in Germany for several events, probably most notably for the FIDE Grand Prix in Berlin last year, or 2 years ago now, I guess. But it's nice to play in Germany. And generally, I've had a pretty good time, whether it was Berlin, whether it was Dortmund, or even Mainz, where I won the 960, I guess 15 years ago now. It's just great to be here. And on the other hand, I would say though, it's kind of amazing to see all these familiar faces. I mean, there are plenty of people that I've seen over the years, but there are also a lot of people that I haven't seen in like 20 plus years playing here.
Oh
It's kind of
wow.
this weird like blast from the past. Like I noticed there's this German player. I think his name is Hurtneck, I think,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that I remember him playing this tournament that I was at in Trinidad and Tobago in 1998,
I
and
played in Trinidad and Tobago once.
in
I played
1998.
there once too, but that was in
Okay.
2015.
Okay, but like I played there
Did
in
you
this
win it?
open. No, of course not. I was a
I won
master
it.
level player. I didn't win, but I mean, I remember like someone like him. I remember him playing there all those years ago, and then I see someone
Hmm.
like him here, and it's I don't know, it makes me feel very 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 old on one hand, but still, it's nice to see also because I think here, unlike say some of the other events that I play, like the Spanish or the French team championship specifically, it feels like you sort of see how the people who were not able to make it as professionals, like
Hmm.
at the elite level, they still try to play and earn a living, and I think it's very very good for those players around 25, 50, 2600 that they have such an opportunity to still play chess
Hmm.
competitively and make a living from it.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that after Russia, Germany is the country with the most FIDE masters in the
Hmm.
world, which
Okay.
goes to prove your point. Yeah, we don't have too many super elite players, except
Right.
for Vincent, of course, but there's a lot of very strong amateurs.
Yeah.
Myself,
Yeah.
including myself.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I think actually for a long time I've kind of wondered why it is that Germany there's so many good players, but no one at the elite level, and so it's
Yeah.
it's really nice to see how well Vincent is doing. I mean, I think he certainly has great chances in the future
Hmm.
to break into the top 10, maybe become world champion. So I think the sky is the limit for him.
We certainly hope so. Probably because chess is quite an expensive hobby
Hmm.
to pick up in the beginning, but Germans are reasonably wealthy, so a lot of Germans start to play, but then the opportunity costs of pursuing a chess career are quite high in Germany too. So it's kind of a compromise, and you see how far you can go early on, and
Right.
then you don't reach 2700, then you don't do it professionally.
Yeah, but I still, I mean, I feel like it's one of the better places I think for like growing up with chess for sure. And I,
Yeah.
I think I mean there's a very strong chess culture, obviously, with people like Lasker from long ago. So no, I think chess is doing well in Germany, I would say. And it's just
Yeah.
really really nice to be here.
Another question. Do you follow chess news? Of course you do. Have you heard about the young kid who broke the record of breaking?
You mean this 8-year-old kid?
Yeah. When did
I
you
mean,
break? When did you beat your first grandmaster?
um, I think I was probably 9 or 10 when I
Oh
did,
wow.
but again, it was someone who was not playing at the grandmaster level at the time already. They were quite old.
Ah.
So I mean, I think it was this guy Arthur Biscay, someone who had played against Bobby Fischer
Oh
in
wow.
like the 50s and 60s. I mean, I think I beat him in like 97, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was 90. Yeah, I think it was 97 in New Jersey in the United States. I only remember that because I think the strange chessable course I did that wasn't so great. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I think that was one of the games in there that I used. So yeah, I was 97, but he was already maybe 2200 or around there. Wasn't playing at like grandmaster level, but that's when I first did. I think in general though, it's going to become more and more common
Mm,
that you have kids around like 8, 9 years old beating GMs. I don't want to say consistently, but I think you're
mm,
you're going to start seeing more of them. And I actually at dinner last night, Shocker, I mentioned this Turkish kid, Erdoğan, who's
mm.
about 12 years old right
Yeah.
now. I think like maybe 2560, 2570.
Yeah.
I think around there. Maybe I'm wrong, um, but I think like people like him, I mean, are going to definitely break 2700 at some
Hmm.
point, and it's not going to be as unusual as it appears right now. I think kids are becoming very, very good at chess, and I'm just glad that I'm not going to have to play many of these kids because honestly, I think it would be very depressing. More than upsetting, it would be just kind of depressing to lose to someone that young.
Probably he also has a really great coach.
Who? Which kid?
Yeah, people can't see me right now because it's
Okay,
full
okay,
screen Hikaru
okay,
view. But
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
my kid.
Okay.
Well, not my kid, but it's my
Uh-huh.
student.
Okay. Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Um,
No,
yeah,
I mean, I think the resources now for kids are infinitely more than when I was growing
absolutely.
up.
Yeah,
And I mean, I think
they don't even have to
even
play on ICC these days.
yeah, right, of course, yeah. But I think main thing though is that it's just I would say pandemic specifically changed it.
Hmm.
Like there's so many more resources available. You things like Chessable. You can honestly, if you're say 2900 or better at Blitz, you can always go online and play against some of the top players in the world.
Hmm.
And I think that more than anything, the experience is invaluable for these kids. Invaluable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I expect a lot of these kids in the future just keep on improving and replace all of us old dinosaurs.
Well, eventually that's the
No, it's
course
how
of
life is.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, the circle of life.
Yes.
All right. I don't want to take too much of your time. If you want, we can go through the games real quick, or
Sure.
you can try to get out of here without being
Yeah.
stopped by all of the
Yeah,
fans.
no, I was just gonna say that tomorrow's probably gonna be an even stranger experience for
Yeah.
me though, because I think I'm playing Anand, I
Yeah.
assume. And I think Vichy, I haven't played him since before the pandemic. I think last time I
Really?
played him was 2019 in St. Louis. So it's gonna be very, very weird to play him. Because obviously so much has changed. I mean, both of
Hmm.
us are not playing chess professionally, I would say, or at least not all the time like we used to. I mean, 2019 we were both playing the Grand Chess Tour. Now I play here and there. He plays maybe 2, 3 tournaments a year, I would say. So it's just going to be very, very strange because the world has changed a lot since then. But it should be a blast from the past, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So in case you want to start preparing already, don't let me stop you. Otherwise, maybe you can take a quick
Yeah,
guess on
sure.
how high we are going to win today. Just kidding, of
Well,
course.
I mean, I
That's
think
not for
it
certain.
all comes down to Noterbeck's game. I mean, if
Yeah.
Noterbeck wins this game, and he is winning, right? Yeah, like
Well, the bar says yes.
no, he's just winning.
The clock says yes,
Yeah, he's just gonna. Yeah, with him winning, then the match is not even going to be in doubt. I would say. I mean, he's going to win
but
this.
he's down queen.
Yeah, but I mean, God is
Yeah.
playing a bong cloud. He's got his king in the middle of the board, and the king's not going anywhere. So actually, I don't even know how Black's supposed to. How's Black even supposed to defend this?
King
It's
is
very
also
bad.
queen is almost captured too.
Yeah, you have to go
Almost.
queen d8, take on e5, and then what, f6, king f6. No, but I mean, this is a total disaster. No, I mean, queen
All
d8
right.
takes, and ed6 and rook c7 or bishop c5. That's all over. Yeah, this is all over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good hopes here. And all the other games looked drawish or at least equal to
Looked
you.
balanced. I mean, Dudah's game looked pretty balanced against Busti. Shakira's game, I think Shakira was a little bit better. Didn't look like very much, I would say. Um, but actually, now that I look at White's, it looks like Black's pieces are a little bit misplaced.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
underdeveloped.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. But
You could squeeze one out here.
yeah, I mean, I don't know about this one, but as long as Noterbeck wins, I think we win the match. So
Hmm.
that's always good. This one, I mean, yeah, this one looks. I mean, relatively normal, not super exciting.
I'm trying to refresh because I'm expecting more moves to have happened.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
no.
No, but this game's going slowly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll do well, we'll win, and then I guess tomorrow's the big match, and it should be pretty fun.
Okay, great. Well, thanks a lot for joining me here in the live commentary. And now, good luck trying to get through all of the people. Good luck tomorrow too.
Sure.
Good prep. And yeah, let me just say once more that we are very happy that you're here with us and hopefully helping us win the title for the first time and take it away
Yeah.
from the hands
One game at a
of
time.
Bud.
One
Yeah,
game.
yeah, of course.
But thanks.
All right.
Okay.